Okay. Looks like things are working. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Of course, this view makes things very interesting for me. But that's okay. We'll go with it. Welcome, welcome. Looks like we're just a minute past the hour. We'll give people a few minutes to join and then we'll get started. Welcome to the Community Open Hour. It's lovely December 10th, Thursday. I am hosting today. Janae is traveling, so we will make do without her and wish her safe travels. You know, now that I'm started, I can't seem to grab the URL that I want to invite people to the announcements on the community Slack. Gareth, could you do that?
What am I doing now?
Could you put an announcement in the announcements channel and the community Slack with those URL? Thank you. I can't seem to grab that with having my computer like this, apparently. I'm struggling. But welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, welcome to the open hour, everyone. Happy Thursday. I am Sage Robbins. I am program manager with the SALT project, and let's get started with our open hour today. We don't have a ton on the agenda. Fairly standard, some general updates, the point release that's happening this month. We did have, Andrew, I'm glad to see you here, that you asked about using SALT to update the minions to new SALT versions. And then, of course, we have the docs working group today. We can go over SEPs, and then we'll just open it up. Question and answer. So yes, general updates, the bug fix release, the point release, the CVE releases. This is going to be live next Wednesday. And we are on track for that. That's looking really good. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. Of course, we have an overlap in our calendars. We have still the Google Community Calendar, but we're also moving over to an Outlook Community Calendar, and there's the links there, and I'll make sure those are in the notes for people. If anybody has any questions about those or they're having trouble with that, please reach out to myself, sage@saltstack.com, or core@saltstack.com. We still have those distribution lists and can be reached there, and will for some time. So please feel free to reach out to us. You can also reach me on IRC, Slack, Keybase, GitHub. There's a lot of places. So feel free to find us and let us know if you have questions there. So we'll just jump right in. How to use Salt update minions to new Salt versions. So we do have a document here, and I wasn't going to display this because it takes away my closed captioning, but Gareth, maybe you can go over this just a little bit.
Sure. So we've had a number of issues lately, just people asking the question like how to use Salt to restart Salt, particularly after an upgrade. And one of the things I wanted to point out, and Bryce is here, so he can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're using one of our packages and it's using on a system running systemd, I believe the package itself will do a restart of Salt Master, Salt Minion. But if you're not using it, or if you just need to upgrade or to restart Salt, you want to restart Salt using Salt. The document that Sage has linked here has the best way, our recommended ways to do it. It can be kind of tempting sometimes just to do like a service.restart of Salt from Salt. But the problem with that is like you're sending a message to Salt through its like a Salt minion for example to restart itself. So once it's restarted, it doesn't send the message back because it's been restarted. So in there it mentions that the best way to do it is actually to use like a Salt runner, and the Salt runner to in turn call something like either like the underlying using like a command.run within the Salt runner to target a minion and restart the service, or to actually use, if you want to use service.restart to keep it as agnostic as possible, to actually use to run Salt call from Salt runner. So I don't remember the exact syntax, but it's documented quite well on that page that Sage has displayed right now.
In addition, we actually have a method to when we have config changes that require, so like not package upgrades but config changes, we do use Salt call service.restart, but we do it via a command.run bg equals true that we schedule last with order last. So essentially that'll happen last, and then it's an on changes for the config file. So on changes requisite. So basically when there are changes in the config file, the last thing in the run will be this background command that like sleeps for 5 seconds and then runs a Salt call service.restart. So that's a method that we've had success with as well. Yeah,
I think there's a similar way. There's a couple different options in that document there, and I think there's a similar way to the one Eric just mentioned. And like the reason we recommend using Salt call versus like an actual call to the minion is Salt call will actually start its own minion process temporarily for that time, and that way it's not dependent on the running minion.
Yeah, and more importantly, it won't be called by the service restart because it won't be in the same C group.
Right, exactly. So I think it was Andrew that asked that question for the agenda. Did that help answer the question you were wondering about?
Yeah, absolutely it does. Thank you for addressing it today.
Yeah, of course.
Any questions here or comments? The go ahead.
Or other issues.
Oh, other issues that we encountered, like Gareth had mentioned at the beginning.
Oh, I just had a question about the new 3002 and reports of a memory leak. I wanted to ask about that, and if this is the time for that, and if not, I can ask it later.
We can go into that.
Okay. So right now I'm on 3000 for my clients, and I've been discussing with a few people that 3001 and 3002 had memory leaks. Have in 3002, has that been addressed? And also, what is the style of memory leak that I should look for? Because I think I will be forced to update since some of the machines will be running Ubuntu 20, and I don't think 3000 runs on Ubuntu 20. Sorry, that was a long-winded multi-part. I can break it down if you want.
That's okay. That's okay. So
Ubuntu 20 uses Python 3.8, and so I think that only 3002 supports that, correct?
I believe that is correct.
3001 was released for Ubuntu 20.04.
Was it?
Yeah.
So that included the syntactical fixes that enable 3.8 support.
Yeah, because I remember 3001 was in June, was the first release that supported Ubuntu 20.04, and it was what, like 2 months after Ubuntu 20.04 was released. So yeah, I remember it was 3001.
Yeah, and 3001 didn't have any memory issues that we're aware of. 3002, the first release of 3002 did have those issues, and they were resolved in a bug fix release. So that was actually 3002.3 because 3002.1 was a CVE. Or sorry, 3002.2.
2.2. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
yeah,
you can see it in the.
One other place that you should be aware of if you're looking for memory leaks is if you're using GitFS, especially if the underlying repository has lots of changes. If it's changing frequently, that can cause memory leaks as well.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that applies to my particular installation.
Okay, cool.
So then it sounds like a jump from 3000 to 3002. Well, I'm on 3000.5 right now, so going to 3002.2. Yeah, okay, great. It sounds like the memory issue was resolved, and that should be a safe path for me to go up to. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for asking. I think it's good to just get these out in the open, talk about them. Let's see, what's next on my slides here? Docs working group is today. I do this every Thursday in the afternoon and have some links here. This is on the calendar. And we do some meeting notes with this one. We're actually going to go over something kind of exciting today that I hope I can make it for most of it. We have a really great, gosh, what do I want to call it? I don't want to call it a getting started, but I want to call it a getting started, which is terrible because we have like several documents called that, but it's a new,
more of an admin guide than
more of an admin guide.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's an admin guide, but I think that's actually what we're going to debate today anyhow. So
That's
we
true.
can debate what we're going to call it.
Yeah, and it's actually a really great document, and we're excited to get that into the community's hands. And so that's going to be a really good meeting today. If you can make it, please do. Derek, Elisa, if you guys have anything to say, please chime in.
Docs make a big difference to our community, so consider coming. We would love to have you.
Yeah.
And I'll echo that.
So this, I actually didn't update this list any because it's kind of full. We do have quite a few SEPs still and working towards those. We're actually really excited about a lot of these and want to move forward with them with all the changes. We've stalled a little bit on some of them, and I'm sad to report that, but it is sort of true. But as we pick back up, I'm excited about a lot of these. I know that Janae is very excited about almost all of these and the process, and we will continue to march forward with, you know, inclusive language and the creation of the community advisory board and just all of these things and making them real. Are there any specific questions to any of the SEPs or proposed SEPs? Draft, I guess I should call them. No questions? Yeah, so just moving into the general question and answer, does anybody have any other general questions, comments, concerns, discussion points? We're a quiet group today. Let's see, new and improved. When will the new and improved community site appear? I don't have a go live date for that exactly, but it will be, as far as I know, in January. And that is actually just a hunch, to tell you the truth. So not to give you bad information, but I know that in January we will at least have a date. And I hope that it will be in January. I am pushing for that. For the new community site. Currently, you can still use what's out there, and everything else that we've talked about will probably come over an iteration of time where we roll different things out, but we should see some major improvements there at the beginning of the year. But great question. I know we're still working on a couple of working groups to get started. I actually got to meet with some internal people with VMware that work specifically with open source, and they are just so supportive of our community and want to know how they can support us and how they can support our community. And it was a really great meeting to understand how they function and how they're going to come in and support us, and how we can use them as a resource, and some of the things that we're really going to gain from that. And one of the things is working really closely with, they have a Kubernetes group, and we talked about having a Kubernetes and Salt working group, and that got everybody very excited. And so I think that will probably move a little faster at the coming of the new year. And I'm going to be involved in that, getting that created for that. And then of course the security working group with Barney. And I know we've just all been busy, but that's still on the table, and we've not lost focus there, just taking a little longer than, I thought, but we're working towards those working groups and starting those. And of course, we're open to any other working groups. If people have ideas or have a passion for it and want to see something there. And of course, we'd love to have more people join the ones that we've got. I think the test and release group sort of, at the end of the year, we kind of see people and the groups sort of not meet as much, and then they pick back up at the beginning of the year, and we're kind of chalking it up to that for that one, and hope that that's the case. But of course, if somebody's interested in testing and releasing and things that they're doing there, their board is accessible, and you can see what they're working on through the GitHub repo and community, and they have a project board there. Windows and Mac have one in the SALT repo, and some others have their own orgs within either GitHub or GitLab, so formulas and some other ones. And those are really active groups. So if people are interested in those, it is simply attending, finding out what they're about and their goals. We will make that more visible at the beginning of the year through that community repo. And hopefully that'll garner some support for people that are interested in just being involved. And of course, we have the clinics. I think those have been really successful, the docs clinic and the testing clinics, and kind of having a really casual approach to those two things. And I hope to use that more in the coming year. We haven't done another code jam, and I'm looking forward to doing that. We've with all of the changes, I couldn't figure out where to fit it in before the end of the year. So that'll be something for 2021. And I'm excited about that. Those tend to be really great and just get a massive amount of work done. And I look forward to them. They can be exhausting. I need a nap after, but they're really cool. I don't even get laughter. You guys are really quiet. I got a smile from Gareth. So that counts.
Hey, Sage, this is Ken.
Hey, Ken.
I'm not sure if it's already been discussed, or maybe I missed some other announcement somewhere. But with the recent news about CentOS 8 going into just a streaming version, has that been discussed, or do we know what's happening around that yet?
We haven't discussed it, and no one's asked. I've seen some chatter and thought, wow, this is interesting, and kind of thought it may come up today. But I don't know that I have any more information than that. Anybody else?
So I just posted the link to the blog post just in case people are unaware. It's in the chat. But,
yeah.
The co-founder of CentOS has already announced plans to start a new CentOS like fork, or new CentOS like distro. So
yeah, I was going to say the main thing in my mind is that I think that a lot of what we've got right now is going to keep working with CentOS Stream, but that we're going to have, and this is this kind of happens every few years. It's been calm for the last few years, but in the past, it's only been 3 to 5 years between some sort of disruption in the whole CentOS or Red Hat Enterprise Linux rebuild ecosystem. And so it's just going to be interesting to see what the emerging winner is. So one of them to keep our eyes on is called Rocky Linux so far. And that's what the CentOS co-founder is working on. And so we'll see if that's able to gain traction. But there are a lot of groups out there very heavily motivated to help maintain a stable rebuild of Red Hat Enterprise. And so we just need to keep our eyes open and be ready and excited to make updates to SALT to be able to run on one of these operating systems. But yeah, at this point, it's so early in this kind of disruption that it's hard to put a stake in the ground and start placing bets,
Yeah, for sure. Understood.
Yeah, I mean, from what I can tell, really, all that SALT would need to do to adapt to a new distro that fills that space would be updating distro detection in the core grains. So it'd be a pretty light lift.
Yep, that's what it's made to be.
Yep, cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. Great question. something that I've been thinking about that I haven't fully baked this idea, but I've done it with some other groups where we've had some roadmaps where we even show, like we've talked about this on our life cycle landing page, where we show more of a like timeline for support. And I've even thought about having, a future roadmap that's exposed that shows some things about updating and when we expect things to come out and supporting them. Because some of those I think we know, but to have it in one place would be kind of nice. And to have it dynamic would be really great. And it's right now just an idea. But I think something like this would kind of fit in on something like that. We know that this is coming. This is sort of, it's on our radar. We're thinking about it. Yeah, other questions?
Has anybody considered Python 3.9 support yet? I don't know if any changes need to be made, but
we actually are thinking about some.
Fedora 33 is already using it. It's already out there.
I was going to say, I know we have 3.9 in our, I don't know if we're actually running it on PRs, but I know it is in the Knox configs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Fedora 33 is running on our pipeline with 3.9. I've had Fedora people hitting me up about 3.10 already for Fedora 34.
Fedora 34, yeah. And I think we're looking at that, and also like the opposite of that is dropping the support for lesser versions, and looking at that in the next couple of release cycles, and probably how we need to expose that's our plan. That's probably a point I need to do something about that.
There's also some stuff that I've been working on. Hopefully I have a pull request in the next couple of days. There's some kind of bit rot in the Yum module, just because newer distros name some of these plugins differently, and the code is still checking to see if versions that Salt doesn't even support. It's checking to see if the version of your distro is like CentOS 5 or Red Hat 5 or something, or like Fedora 28 or whatever, or 22 or even so, like there's some stuff there that I'm planning on cleaning up.
Awesome. Yeah, I was actually looking through the backlog and I saw that there was at least one issue assigned to you, Eric, and I thought I would reach out to you and just be like, is this something that you're working on? And I think it's labeled aluminum already, and I was like, oh, I'll just check with you. And I don't think
yes, I'm not. I probably haven't been keeping up. I probably haven't been working on it, so
that's okay.
I'm not sure exactly what that is, but yeah, if you want to send it over to me.
Yeah, I will. I'll send it to you. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head either. I wasn't necessarily expecting you to be here. I would have been more ready. I was just going to send it to you.
Yeah, I do have a conflict.
Yeah.
At 12:30, Central Time. So, which means I have to leave in a moment. But so it's hard. Sometimes I have to prepare for that meeting, and so it can be difficult. You happen to choose like basically the 1 hour that's really difficult for me to make it. So.
Sorry about that. Yeah. But I'll get with you on that. I think that's just one, and it looks like it may be left over. So I just wasn't sure at all. So
could be.
We'll do it. We'll get it updated.
Cool.
Yeah. Other questions? Comments?
Arguments, rebuttals?
Snail jokes, dad jokes. We like all of those. And if not, we can adjourn early. We will meet next week, and then we will have a break for a little while. I think that we're not meeting the week of the holidays, so we'll 2 weeks in a row that we won't meet, and then we'll meet again that first weekend, that first full week of January. And that should be already on the calendar. I will make sure that it is, and put that in the notes for today. And if nobody has anything, we'll go ahead and adjourn early. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your questions and your support and your contributions. We look forward to keeping this going. Thanks, everybody. Happy
Thanks, guys.
Thursday.
Right.